All right, you're probably a bitch.
What is your deal with Home fucking Depot, dude?
What
When
about you, Reese? What kind of bitch are you?
a spicy one, a spicy bitch.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
a bad bitch, dude.
You started saying this question. I was like, oh shit.
Richie, there is something that we have got to set the record straight on, okay? So I'm about to call
Okay,
your ass out.
let's go.
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yo.
Perfect.
Hey, I only see one guy. I only see Reese.
Come on, Grandpa. I think you got to scroll or something.
I got three of. Hey, there you are. What's going on, man?
Perfect. Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm
Doing
good.
great.
I gotta warn you. My Wi-Fi went out last night to do maintenance. Hopefully I'm good. I'm on my hotspot. If for some reason I'm out, that's why.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Awesome. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about a lot of random shit and a lot of musical shit. So
Love
Absolutely.
it. Love it.
I love it. I love to see you, Reese, too. You're just chilling in your car.
I know. Well, it's 8:30 and my roommate's not going to be awake till 2 p.m. So I figured that the car was the safer bet to be able to talk. But yeah, just chilling.
That is so nice of you. I
Nice.
would have been like, fuck this guy. He can wake up for me.
Exactly. I got stuff to do.
Yeah, Richie tells me that all the time.
That is amazing. I love it. Well, it's definitely a first on the pod. I haven't had anyone sit in their car during an interview, so I'm super excited about it.
We
Hell
gotta
yeah.
make a statement, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's one way to make an entrance, right?
absolutely.
Before we start talking music and stuff, I want to get to know you guys a little bit more. And specifically for the listeners, I want them to get to know a little bit more of your background, where you guys come from.
Love
Killer.
it, love it. I'll start. Personally, I'm from New Jersey. I grew up North Jersey. I got into music real early. I was like 5 years old. Just started playing drums, and it kind of just snowballed. And Jersey was really cool music scene growing up. So basically, my whole life was just from like 6 years old, 7 years old on, just constantly playing shows like school nights, different little festivals, so many different venues with so many different bands. That's basically all I really had for growing up in New Jersey. That's literally all we ever did. Reese is not though.
Growing up for me was pretty similar. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. One thing that Richie and I bonded over when we first met was the fact that we both came up playing at School of Rock. So I was like a student for the School of Rock school in Dallas when I was like 10 years old. Started playing guitar. I made my first band when I was like 11. It was like the way that I bonded with my family growing up. Because like my dad wanted me to play guitar real bad, so he enrolled me in lessons and he showed me like the classic rock bands that he grew up on. So I grew up on like Led Zeppelin and Van Halen and Aerosmith and AC/DC. And then my sister was like, "Oh my God, you are into music now? That's crazy. Let me show you the music that I listen to." My sister's 8 years older than me, so she would come home after school with a mix CD that had like Boys Like Girls and All Time Low and Forever the Sickest Kids and stuff like that on it. And it just was like my way of connecting with my family and like also developing a really eclectic music taste for a 10-year-old at the same time. But yeah, been playing in bands ever since.
Same thing, but like I grew up on like 80s, and then at some point it was like you discover your own bands. And that was
Hmm.
like a big turning point and like, oh, like you can make music like that. Cause like growing up when you would think of the 80s and all that, it's just like, oh, legacy, let's just cover all that. Like we kind of had the same upbringing as far as like what we listened to and how we discovered music, which was like another like real quick, just something to talk about that we both relate to.
How did you guys actually come together, given the fact that you're from the East Coast, you're Texan? I know eventually you ended up in the West Coast, but
Hmm.
how did you guys create this? In my opinion, it's what I call magic, right? Because even just when we'll talk
Yeah.
about your record here in a little bit, because I think just it's beautifully done from beginning to end. There's really not, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but there's just not a single shitty song on this album. And
Thank you.
and you know
It's
what? And
tough
here
to do.
well, and here's the reality of it, right? There are so many really incredible artists out there, and sometimes there's always a track that you can tell they put on, maybe because management wanted there, but we know it's not really cohesive to the album. So it's really difficult to find an album that from beginning to end, it's just incredible. So, but before we talk about that, how did you guys come together to even create this band? Who inquired who and said, hey, let's just do this together?
Dude, it's Instagram, the new way. I was doing like a solo project So was Reese, like at the same time. I was kind of like, okay, like this music needs to be a band, like what I was starting with. We didn't really have all this music yet. And a friend was just like, hey, this kid Reese, like, I don't know what he's up to. Like, why don't you talk to him? And we literally just messaged each other and got on the phone and talked for like what, 2 hours?
Something like that. We talked about music for like 5 minutes, but we talked for like 2 hours. We talked
Yeah.
about football. We bonded over the fact that like we're both Dallas Cowboys fans. And then after like 2 hours of football talk, he was like, "So you want to like do some music or something? You want to play some music together?" And then I was like, "Yeah." And then we
That's
talked about
basically
that
how
for
it went. And
5 minutes, and
also
then that's
Reese was
yeah.
yeah, and also Reese was kind of like at the same point as me at the exact same time where it was like we weren't sure where this solo thing was going. And we both just kind of had a feeling like, yo, like why don't we just cross paths and see what we come up with? And now we're here.
How did you guys
Now
come
we're
up
here.
with Dreamphone? Like, what's the story behind the name?
Oh, like, dude, to be real, our manager had a list of names and one of them was dreamfone PH. And we were like, that sounds cool, but it looks weird. Make it lowercase and make an F. And that's literally the only story I got for you. There's no idea
Just sounds
behind it.
cool.
Yeah,
No, that's
exactly.
awesome. That's awesome. I love it. Which is funny you say that because we're actually going to do something a little later on. Listen, I mean, obviously, sometimes I find my own shit funny and it's probably not, but for my sake of my own personal humor, it'll be funny for me. So,
Okay.
but
Love it. Love it.
you guys recently wrapped up a spring tour. When is the next upcoming show? What are some plans you guys have for being either back on the road or doing some, shows in LA or anything like that?
We do have stuff in the tank right now that's not at an announce period yet, but we do have a bunch of shows coming up. Hopefully, like throughout the year, we'll try to hit as many cities as we can before the new year. So there's nothing I can really say yet. I'll get in trouble, but we are gonna play some more this year, and hopefully we hit a city of interest for people.
That's amazing. Well, I actually do have another question just to backtrack a little bit. When it comes to coming together and creating Dreamphone, right? Richie, I know you had previously been in a couple of other bands. In your opinion, and this is just not to throw shade at your other bands or anything like that. This is truly, I'm just being
Throw it,
curious.
baby. Yeah.
In your opinion, is this your most successful? And if so, what makes this one more successful than your other collabs or your other bands or projects, would you say?
No, it's beyond anything I've done. Like growing up, man, you have to suck at some point to get good. Like that's just the reality of it. Yeah, like the difference for me is I feel like with Dream Phone, for me personally, I finally feel like I'm in a place in my life where I'm like, oh, I think I made a jump. You know what I mean? Like you're always growing. I kind of knew in the moment, I'm like, this isn't good, but like it's the best I could do right now and just keep learning, keep growing, talk to people, learn from people, watch people, take criticism. That's a big thing. You have to take criticism from people that you respect and people that have been there before, like Twitter troll, whatever. Like, all right. But you got to take criticism from people and build on it. Don't let it get to you. Think of it as okay, this person's trying to help me. Let me see what I need to do better, what I need to do to grow, to find what I'm looking for. And yeah, with Dream Phone, it feels like such a massive jump from my last project. It felt like every project was just a little bit better, you know? This one for me feels like a big jump, actually saying what I want to say. My voice is coming into its own, rips guitar, which I never had because I play guitar. I just play chords. So having that on top of it just brought it to a whole new level. And then just people you meet, people that back you, help. You always need help, doing everything in a band. And having that help has really made me see like what it is we got to do to get better. And yeah, Dream Phone is really the first time I feel confident. Like my old bands, I would play music or like somebody would play a song in the room with me and I would get like, yo, turn this off. Like I don't want people to hear this when I'm in the room. And now, man, like, yeah, play Dream Phone. Like, like I love it and I feel proud of it and I feel confident in it. And that's a massive step from anything I've done in the past. So for me, it was just suck a little less, suck a little less. And now I feel like I'm sucking a lot less. in my opinion.
I could not have said that any better myself. I absolutely find that to
Yeah,
be so relatable. And specifically in the artistic realm, you have to be bad at it at first. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that. Like, go out and suck. I
absolutely.
love that. I love that message. And when it comes to you, Reese, I know you had posted some stuff about the behind the scenes of being on tour with bands like Mayday Parade. What about being in behind the scenes? And I'm not really too sure what you were doing with them. Maybe you were just a groupie. I don't know. I'm just kidding. But but what about the behind the scenes have you been able to apply as a band member yourself to, in my opinion, be this successful? Because again, and I can't stroke your egos enough. I feel like you guys are fucking killing it. It's good music. I just love everything you're doing. So
Thanks, man. It's everything that Richie said. Like every experience that you have coming up is something that you take with you until like the very end. You know what I mean? Like everything that we learned from being in each of our own individual previous projects is stuff that we can directly apply to dreamfone in like a way of like, oh, this is cool. I learned the hard way that this isn't cool. This is how like we have all the pieces that we need to make like a project that we're very, very happy and proud of now. So like stuff that I learned on tour was directly applicable to that. I think I was on tour with Mayday as the opening band, so it was really, really helpful and beneficial at a young age. I was like 19 when I did that tour, I think. So from like a very young, malleable age to go on tour and see like, oh, this is how like the big boys do it. Or at least, all I knew was the big boys at the time. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, we're playing House of Blues. That's crazy. Like this is what they do there. And then to go and take that into Dreamphone and be like, just kind of bring in that understood professionalism, that knowledge about business and gear and live production and all of that, and just to take it to Dreamphone and be like, okay, here's how we're going to be the best, most professional live band that we could possibly be, and that's going to be our point of pride. Like we're going to be opening shows for a while. We're going to be the easiest opener because we've both been openers on several tours before. Like we know how to act, we know what we're going to bring in, and we're going to be everyone's favorite opener. You know what I mean? Until we're headlining. I think that that's just what I took away from all that.
I also love to hear you say the word professionalism, because I do think that that also comes with this big misconception that what you're doing is so fun. I retired as a choreographer. In my career, a lot of people didn't really take it as a professional career because they thought, oh, it's fun. You're on tour. You're getting to do this. This is so much fun. And so I love hearing artists and musicians talk about the professionalism side of it, because it's not just I get to pick up my instrument and play and go on tour and now I'm going to go out and become famous and make millions and boom, it's that easy, never do it again. There is so
Yeah.
much professionalism that goes behind this, and not a lot of
Yeah.
musicians talk about that. So I love that a lot.
Richie will vouch for this too. Like it is fun. It's like the time of our fucking lives. Like, but that's why we have to remain professionals, because we get to do it a whole lot more if people like us. You know what I mean?
It's fun, but like the reality of it is it's also a job when you're on tour. I treat it like an athlete, man. You got to take care of yourself. You have to be at the gym. You have to eat right. You have to sleep right because, after shows, like all you have is Wendy's. So you're gonna pig out. So like when you can, you got to take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. And like you want to give your best version of yourself to people. A big part of that is professionalism and taking it seriously.
For sure. And Richie, do you consider yourself well seasoned when it comes to this? Because I think this was also a fun part for me. And I've openly talked about this on the pod. I do not do deep dives on artists until maybe the night before I start to interact with them. Like I've never had the fangirl part of my body. And I also grew up in LA and I've been around, artists and stuff my entire life. My mom worked with some incredible people in the industry. And so it's just never been a part of me. I'm not like, oh, I'm going to go crazy and like, I want to look up their birthdays and just stalk their lives. It's just not in my nature. But
Yeah,
now
yeah.
with doing this pod, when I have a guest on, I do go on and I like to do some research, but I like to do it very spontaneously. I don't like to do it weeks or days before. And something that I was just looking up both of you guys, obviously I have to, right? I noticed that there are
Yeah.
so many little interviews from when you were younger. And so I'm like, I wonder if he
Oh
considers
God.
himself well seasoned when it comes to interviews and doing this, because it just appears like you've been doing this for a long time. So do you?
As far as interviews, hell no. Because like all those interviews from back in the day, man, like I was a kid, I never really knew what to say. I didn't know how to properly like present myself. So as far as interviews, hell no, I'm still a noob. As far as other stuff goes, I wouldn't say completely seasoned, but like we definitely have experience. So I feel like we're taking everything we've learned, what to do, what not to do, and kind of shaping it. So like I feel like I'm getting there, but interviews, man, nah, like I was nervous for today, man. I'm like, I gotta talk.
Reese, why were you laughing over there when I brought up younger interviews?
We've both been around the block and been in other bands, and I laugh. I think about the interviews that I did when I was in my last band at like 18 and 19, and you do a lot of growing up in what 6, 7 years. So I'm sure there's some cringy ones out there. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't say cringy, but I mean, I definitely was going to ask you also, like, I don't know if you've ever looked up your name, and that was the only thing I kept thinking about. I'm like, they are so well seasoned, but I wonder if either one of them find it cringy, or are they like, fucking take it all down? I don't want any part of it.
I've looked into it. I'm like, how do I get a lot of this down? I mean, you learn, man, you grow, and it's not the biggest deal. But yeah, no, I hate it.
It's a part of you. It's how you like got here. So I don't hate it as much myself, but I definitely won't watch them. I've had buddies come over and be like, let's do like music video nights. And we'll all be like hanging out watching YouTube or something. And then they'll be like, oh, here's a funny one. And it's an old music video or an interview from my old band. I'm like, all right, you guys have fun. I'm going to leave the room for a minute. I'll be back in about 3 minutes, 45, and then we can talk again. But
I mean, listen, you're in your car, so you can't get away now. So I'm just going to duck away. We're going to put a TV behind and we're going to watch some of those
oh
interviews.
no.
I would
Just
love it,
kidding.
but then I know you would do me too, and I don't want
Yeah.
that.
No, no, no. I do want to talk about this album, though. Of course, I've already stroked your ego enough, so I'm not going to do it all over again. All right.
No.
But obviously, I'm obsessed. And I do want to talk about some of the songs on there, specifically starting with Body Like Gossip. Who the fuck came up with this? Because it is so genius, in my opinion, when you really start to think of even just the title alone, Body Like Gossip. Who is responsible for this shit? Like, give it to me.
So I wrote it with Mike Miley and Nick Santino, and it was our first time doing a trip together. So we started the track. We're just kind of like, going through some melodies. We came up with this idea because it's very relatable. I feel like for a lot of people, because I've been there before, where you meet somebody that has a reputation, and you meet them and it's like, what the hell? Like, no, that's not true at all. So we were just like talking about that and talking about experiences with that. And I forget who came up with the Body Like Gossip. But that was like I think that was the first line we came up with, because we were just kind of listening to we started with the chorus part, the track. And I'm not gonna lie, I cannot remember which one of us came up with it. I mean, a lot of it's collective. Like one guy will say something and then another guy will be like, oh, that's cool. What if we just change this one word? So like we kind of just pieced it together. Once we had that line, we just ripped the song like real quick, just because, especially when you sit down and like you have an idea for a song and you talk about your experiences with it, I feel like that is what brings out at the time your best of that topic, and yeah, man, it's a crazy tag and a crazy title, but I was a little nervous about it, I'm not gonna lie, but it seems like people caught it and they understand what it means. And yeah, I think it's a cool way of saying that, like, like just somebody having a reputation and it's just not true at all, and I can relate to that myself too, because I've gone through so many different phases in my life of who I am. So like if somebody knew me like 10 years ago, they would not say great things. And it's like, but then if you meet me now, I feel like I'm a lot more there and a lot better of a person. So it would be kind of the same thing, if you talk to somebody from back in the day, and then the same thing with me, they'd be like, what? Like, really? So yeah, it just kind of wrote itself, man. It was very relatable for all of us, and that's why I feel like it's probably relatable for a lot of people, just because it happens, it's sometimes you get a bad rep, and you got to go out there and prove to people that that's not you. Yeah, I think it was a cool concept to go after.
Oh, for sure. No, it's just so awesome. And I'm very like picky when it comes to song titles because I grew up in the 90s. I'm a little bit older. And so when I think of song titles and album titles, I think that they should tell a story, right? And it takes me back to the times where I would go to a record shop and look for a CD. And then I'm like, oh, well, this song looks good, right? Because, you can't just preview everything back in the day. So, I
Mhm.
mean, some shops had like the
Yeah.
headphones that you could go in the aisle, but not all of them
Yeah, I remember
did.
those. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I love talking about song titles. And just a little disclaimer, some of the questions with song titles will not have anything to do with the song, but it's just kind of become my thing where I take song titles and whether it's just the name of your band or something, and I pull inspiration from that because to me, that's what's very nostalgic. And so
Mhm.
one of the questions I have here for the both of you guys in regards to your song title sleepover, if we had a sleepover tonight, Richie, what movie would we watch? And Reese, what snacks would we have?
Oh, I feel like I know
Uh,
what Richie's answer is going to be, but I'll let you answer.
Dude, there's so many good ones, but like if you're gonna go after a staple piece, man, Toy Story.
I knew it.
Freaking
I knew it.
like, dude, for me, like, there's so many great movies out there, but like that's the movie where it's just like that one gets me. Like all of them. Like one, two, and three, like and four. So like if I had to pick a movie, like, yo, we're having a sleepover tonight, I'm gonna get some popcorn, we're gonna watch Woody and Buzz, baby.
All
What would
right.
your go-to snacks be, Reese?
My go-to snacks for a sleepover, man. I feel like I have such trashy tastes when it comes to snacks. I would say Takis. I like a spicy chip. Richie would stay so far away from that. That would mostly just be for me. I like a chips and queso scenario. You know what I mean? I'm from Texas. I get really picky about my queso, but those are my go-to snacks. Chips and queso, maybe some salsa, and then some Takis. I like a little bit of spice.
Alrighty, I
I'll
like
do the
that.
latter half.
I like that. A couple of questions. One, Richie, totally random. Do you have any Toy Story tattoos?
I have a Pixar tattoo. It's right here.
Very
I
cool.
got it because growing up with my mom, I was born in 97, so it was kind of the beginning of Pixar. So growing up, my mom and I would just watch so much Pixar, and so I got this to kind of, for her and for me and just memories. And the only time I don't like this tattoo is when I go to Disney. Because when I go to Disney, I'm like, oh man, I look crazy. Like I look like a Disney fanatic. I love it, but like I don't like looking like that. So like when I go there, I'm like, ah. But other than that, man, I love this tattoo. It's meaningful, and also this guy.
Perfect. So if we ever see you at Disney and you're wearing long sleeves, we know why.
Yeah, I mean you can't. It's hot usually when you go. If it's a little cooler, yeah, I'll throw on a flannel or something.
Just let me know when you go, and next time you go to Disney, I'll actually go along with you, but I won't go with you. I'll just walk 10 feet behind you, and the entire time I'll be like, go look at his tattoo. Go look at his tattoo. He's Disney's biggest
Great.
fan.
I appreciate that, man. I'm going to September, so you know when to go.
That's perfect. Reese, I know you talked about queso and spicy chips. Which one of you posted Tums in one of your stories? I don't remember who it was. That
That would
was
have been
you?
me. That would have been me. Man, if there's one thing that I got on me at all times, it's a bottle of Tums. I wish I were joking. I have them in my backpack at all times. You do a lot of shows, and I mean, at the time, I was doing these like shows on the weekends. I was DJing for emo night, and it's a lot. It's 3 hours of you just jumping around. At the time, I was drinking. I was drinking a lot of coffee too, so I was just like, man, this is not a sustainable lifestyle. I'm gonna start bringing Tums with me everywhere.
That's funny and totally random also, because now I'm getting some memories of last night watching an interview of you, Richie, where you talked about a surgery. Was that anything related to like acid reflux or anything like that? I don't recall too much about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was when I was born, man. I was born with a lot of health issues, and the first like 10 years of my life, I was in the hospital basically. Like, I was missing a lot of school. Back then we weren't as advanced as we are now. So they were doing tests on me, all that. And like 1, 2 in the morning when I was 5, my parents got a call and they're like, yo, you got to bring him in now. We got to do some surgery on him. Like, I have a huge well, it was huge scar on my stomach, and now you can still see it really well. But yeah, they were basically like, he needs to come in now. We need to get him in. And my parents had to say goodbye to me just in case I didn't come out. And like my memories on it are foggy, but like when I do have like little flashbacks, man, it was tough. Another cool part of the story is after that surgery, reflux was it was burning holes in my heart. I had like 4 holes in my heart, and it got to my ear, my left ear, and it blew out my eardrum. So a few months later, I had to go back in. They basically like rebuilt it, and I got my hearing back. And that's why I play music, because as an ironic gift, after my parents were like, "Hey, you can hear now. Here's a drum kit. Like, bang on it. Use headphones, but bang on it." So like, as much as it sucked, I had crazy asthma too. I was having like 120 episodes a night. Like it was a lot, but I'm almost thankful for it because I got out of it alive. And that's really, I don't think I'd be playing music without that. So it kind of worked out. You know what I mean? It helped me find my passion really early in my life. So yeah, man, it was tough. It was a lot, but like I'm grateful for it, man. It really shaped my path, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I was just like totally thinking about that right now when Reese, when you were talking about, oh, the spicy chips would be for me. And that immediately brought me back to like, oh shit, I thought I heard him say something about like it was like a charity event and you were doing an interview, but you were so little. And I'm like, all right, I think that has something to do with it. So we're gonna keep spicy shit away from you. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what sucks? I like spicy food. I like the way it tastes, but I can't do it. Like even like a little too much pepper. I'm like, whoa. Like so it sucks, man. I wish I could do it, but yeah, I've had to stay away from it my whole life. And at this point, it's like, all right, like yes, I can't do it, you know. I'll never go on hot ones. Actually, that's the one thing I would do. If for some reason Hot Ones was like, yo, come on, I'm like, all right, I gotta go
You,
through it.
you got to have a paramedic on site, but you got to go to Hot Wheels.
Yeah, that's the only time I'll do it. So if he's listening.
Absolutely. I will say though, that is the widest shit I've heard on the pod to date when it comes to pepper. Pepper being spicy, I love it.
Too much, man. I'm like, whoa.
I'm like, listen, you're talking to a Latino here, okay? So I'm like, pepper. I'm like, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, a little too much pepper, man. A lot of people say that. They're like, really? Like, damn. You
Well,
really can't do it.
Reese, you're from Texas, so you're probably like, pepper? Really?
Yep.
Man, dude, drench my shit in pepper. Drench it in hot sauce, all of that. Richie laughs at me for it.
Are you Hispanic, Reese?
No, 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 not at all.
Dang, you just look
I
Hispanic?
is you really do you feel like that? Do you feel like I generally look Hispanic? That's
Yeah.
something that I get a lot, but I
I can
do
see
not
it,
see it
yeah.
whatsoever. Really? Man. My dad kind of looks Hispanic, but he's just tan. He's just
Okay.
like is someone who's in the sun a lot. But that's very funny. I've gotten that my entire life, and I look in the mirror and I see the whitest man you've ever seen in your entire life. So it is very, very, very funny. I'll take it.
Well, we're going to go ahead and say on record, Richie took that card from you when he said pepper was spicy. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Drunk and Venting is my number one favorite song on this record. I love it. I have streamed it one too many times, so I won't give you an exact number or I'll embarrass myself, but I'm obsessed with
Dude,
it.
keep the streams coming, baby. I love it.
I love it. I am obsessed with it. And one of my favorite lines on there is the most obvious one that I'll say here in a little bit. But I wanted to ask you a question and don't hang up on me. I'm not doing this to be rude or to be insulting. It's just to shoot the shit, okay? But what kind of bitch are you?
Oh yeah. Dude, I was a bitch, man. So that song, I wrote that myself, and the idea started like years ago, like 2018. The song is specifically from a night that I had, which was not a good night. It was a lot of JD. The song basically is, from my point of view, it's venting. It's not about drunken venting. Like the chorus is kind of a summary of it. But like if you listen to the verses, it's literally just sitting there venting. Man, I was a bitch and I knew it. Like I didn't really have a backbone. I didn't treat myself right. I didn't treat other people right. I was heavy into drugs, and that really kind of put me down a bad path. Just made me not a bad person, but like pretty bad person. And I couldn't handle things right. you know? And like when something dramatic happened in my life, I did not know how to handle it. So I would just go into drugs and drinking. And yeah, so that song, it's post all that when I wrote it. But for me, I honed in on one specific night I had when I first moved to LA. It was a bad night, man. And I just kind of was trying to recall stuff that I was saying, stuff that I was thinking. Yeah, man, being a bitch at that time was a big part of it. And I knew it too. I was self-aware about it. And that's why I was like, I definitely was thinking about that at the time. I didn't know how to handle stuff, man. I didn't know how to control my feelings or control myself, you know. What about
When
you, Reese? What kind of bitch are you?
a spicy one, a spicy bitch.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
a bad bitch, dude.
That's true. Reese has never been a bitch. I haven't known him obviously for more than 3, 4 years, but I can just tell he's never been a
I mean,
bitch.
he's in his car right
I
now. I'm like, give me your
Richie,
roommate's number. I'm about to call him, wake his ass up.
Exactly.
that's the number one thing
Exactly.
that Richie says about me is that I'm too nice to people. I could afford to be a little bit more of a bitch sometimes, but
Yeah,
here
yeah,
I am
you
in
know,
my
I
car.
just
I love it. So
yeah,
there you
yeah, I'm
go,
not
the
telling
nicest
you
bitch.
anything. Exactly.
I love it. No, when that line came on, I lost my shit. It hyped me up like you have no fucking idea. I was just like, get the fuck out of here. It's my favorite song on there.
One more thing about that, because it was the first song we put out. So we posted on TikTok, and I guess it went down the wrong tube. And I remember seeing a comment. I don't read comments, but it was the first song. So I was just like, oh, like let's see what people. And there was a comment from some dude. And he was like, did he say I'll be a bitch if I want? Yeah, I'm good. I'm like, okay, this is the thing. People aren't self-aware about being a bitch. Like we've all been a bitch at some point in our life. Like you know what I mean? And it's like, so when I saw that, I was like, okay, so you can't sing this song because it's about being self-aware about you being like that. And it's not a bad thing to do that, man. It's the only way you can fix it. But yeah, I saw that comment. I was like, all right, you're probably a bitch.
I was like,
It
that's
hit,
something
it
a
hit too
bitch would
hard.
say.
Exactly. It hit too hard. It hit too close to home.
I love that because other than it hyping me up, that was also what I loved about that one fucking line. It just really does take you back to all the times where if you're not able to be aware of all the times that maybe you were weak and naive or you were weak and foolish, then there's a fucking problem, you know? So I agree with that. I
Yeah.
love that. When it comes to your album cover, okay, I'm going to put you guys on the spot and we're going to do a little version of I Spy with My Little Eye, okay?
Oh gosh,
Okay.
oh gosh.
So, and I want you to be very careful with listening to which ones I'm going to ask, because at the end, there are going to be 3 items on this cover that I did not mention that I want to see if you pick up on which ones they are. So,
Oh
the
God.
first one
Okay.
is the jacket. Whose jacket is this on that album cover?
Dude, I haven't looked at it forever.
So we had a stylist for this shoot. If there's a jacket, I don't think it inherently belongs to either of us. I
Yeah,
don't even
yeah,
Perfect.
remember
it's
there being a jacket though, if I'm being honest.
literally, I haven't looked at it forever. You started saying this question, I was like, oh shit.
All right, this is gonna be fun though. I'm curious. I'm curious.
Yes, and also keep in mind, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. They don't have to make fucking sense. So just answer, make it up as you go. Just trust me, okay?
Okay, all
I
right, all
got
right.
you. I got you.
Alrighty, this one's for whoever wants to take it, but there's a glove on this album cover. Where's the other fucking glove? There's only one. Where's the other one?
There's a glove?
I I feel like I remember the glove. I feel like Adam, our photographer, had them like in his backpack and he just pulled out one. I think that was his idea. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna make it just a little like quirky." So like little details. He's like, "All right, I just pull out one glove." Yeah, I think Adam had it. I think he just pulled it out of his backpack. I'm
What
pretty
kind of
sure.
glove was it?
It's like a
Yeah, I don't
brown
remember.
leather type of glove.
It wasn't even cold out, I don't think.
Maybe it was a. I think Adam golfs, so maybe that was it. Maybe there
Oh,
is.
maybe
Maybe
that.
it's a golf glove, and that answers your question. If there's a golf glove, there is no other glove because don't you only just throw the
Oh,
one? You know? I don't know,
Oh.
man.
that's fucking good. I liked it better when you sucked at this. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I got you on that, bro.
No, no, not at all. There is an item by the actual dream phone name, and it looks like it may be a book. If you guys were to choose to write a book about the two of you together, Richie, what would you title it? And Reese, what would you title it too?
Growing pains, because
Ooh.
we, early on, all my fault. We had a lot of stuff we had to go through together. Yeah, I would say growing pains because I feel like it really helped us shape where we're at now and where we're at this year. Yeah, I don't know. That just came to me.
I love that. I love that a lot.
You went a lot more serious than I was gonna go.
I almost went fun. And I was like, you know what? Let's get deep.
I was gonna make some Cowboys reference. I was gonna just say something like "Best in the East."
Oh, you're gonna
So
piss some
he,
people off with that one.
whatever, man.
If I had to pick, if I were to become the third member in your band, mine would just be bitch. That's what it would be. Just
Bitch,
bitch.
I like it.
I'm
I
not
like
I'm
it.
not opposed to that. That makes sense.
We can just start our own podcast. We'll just call it Two Bitches.
Yeah.
That's genius. There is a Hello Kitty on this album cover. If we were to find this Hello Kitty in one of your guys' house, whose house would we find it at?
Reese.
Probably mine. That sounds like something that I would keep and just like keep it for the bit. I'd move it all around the apartment. Anytime you came over, it'd be somewhere new.
Like an elf on the shelf type
Like an
deal.
elf on the shelf situation. You know, if you're at my house long enough, I'm gonna start making it commit crimes and stuff. I'm gonna make like little Hello crime scenes. That sounds like some shit I would do.
There are some car keys that are on the cover as well. Whose car keys were those?
I think they're Adam's because I remember hearing somebody drop keys on the ground, and Adam was just kind of like pulling shit out of thin air. Like, I mean, he's acquiring
Yeah.
Hello Kitties and stuff like that. So I think that he was just grabbing at stuff and throwing it on the floor.
Yeah, he had like a box of random stuff. That was probably like the most like normal thing he grabbed. You know, like normal like that you would have. You know, he probably just pulled them out of his pocket. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was Adams.
You know
Yeah.
what? I think we're going to go ahead and just call this Adam guy fucking Mary Poppins because he's just pulling out Hello fucking Kitty out of his bag.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did we even say what Adams? He's just this mystery man throwing items on the
Yeah.
ground. He has no other relationship to the band otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
Adam was the photographer for that shoot.
It's like the true identity. It's Mary Poppins, but since Richie's such a Disney fan, he doesn't want to give up the identity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Can you think of what three items on this cover we have not talked about?
I think I can think of one. There's like a Polaroid camera on the floor, right?
Yes. Yep. That's one.
Is there
Oh,
sunglasses? Nah, right?
no?
No.
No, no
Dude,
sunglasses.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't know. And it's one of those things like when I do look at it, like all I see is the middle.
Richie's
Wait,
like,
let me
whenever I
think.
look at it, I just stare at myself.
Yeah, yeah. Like looking at all the little flaws in my face.
I don't know, man.
I definitely don't want to fry your brain too much because trust me, you're going to need it for what's next. Okay. So
All right, all
I'll
right.
tell you the other two. There was a remote control and an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, a phone. I remember the phone. I don't remember
Oh,
that.
okay. All
I
right, all
do
right.
remember the phone.
I was just being too fucking deep about it. Okay. But I was like, oh, the keys for like the apartment track, you know, or I'm like, are these little items part of the song titles? When I tell you I was like all fucking detective on it, I was like trying to piece all the little a Hello Kitty. Where could this be in the fucking song?
I
You know,
wish we had
there
that
is a
Taylor Swift level of forethought on that, but
yeah, you know what's funny? Like, there's two things I can think of: the keys for your apartment and the phone for talking to myself. But honestly, man, like, good job looking for that stuff. It's just random shit.
I wish we
You
had
know,
thought of
like
that. But yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were just like, and we shot the cover early, and we were just like kind of in this phase of like figuring out what we're doing and what the visual is gonna be, what it's gonna look like. So I think we were just really focused on like what it looked like. That we didn't go that deep.
I love it. But you know what? And that's the beauty of shit like this because without things that aren't overthought, things that are just so spontaneous, it really does spark inspiration in other areas. And so I feel like I
Mhm.
wouldn't have asked you guys the most random questions if it weren't for that. So I fucking love it.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah.
you're right. You're right.
And you know what? And since we're on the topic of finding little things here and there, Richie, there is something that we have got to set the record straight on. Okay. So I'm about to call
Yeah.
your ass out.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's go. Yeah.
In an interview, you totally threw your sister under the bus for liking Glee. Today, we're setting the record straight. Are you a true fan of Glee or is it really your sister?
No, I loved Glee. It was a phase of my life. I'm sure I was young. It was a phase of my life where it was like if my sister liked it, like, oh no, like, I don't like that. Dude, I love musicals now. Like looking back at it, it was such a good show. Like they really a High School Musical too. Like later on, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like they just killed it with, it's a perfect musical for kids. And no, man, I was a kid, man. Glee's great. It was a great show. I love it. I love it.
I love it. And Reese, I actually found something on your Instagram that I wanted to just pick your brain about because I thought, again, I like to do things that just fucking random. Was so excited when I saw this because I thought this was the most random shit I've seen. What is your deal with Home fucking Depot, dude?
Oh, oh man. Dude, it's so funny. It's just something that makes me laugh because every time I go to Instagram, like my stories, and I like want to add music to it, no matter what, if I hit the music sticker, the first song is the Home Depot theme song on
Oh
like
yeah, I was like, what are
everything.
you talking about? Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, dude, it's funny. If you go to my Instagram, I have like a little cooking sticker, right? Because I really enjoy cooking. If you tap through it, there's like six that have the Home Depot theme song. It's just like a video to me cooking or whatever. That's
Oh,
It's
so
funny.
funny.
I've never asked you about that. That's
That's so
hilarious.
funny.
Now it's out there. I'm like, oh yeah.
No, it's just that I want to add a song to something and then I just see that it's like the top trending one or something. I'm like, oh, well, if other people are using it, then I'll be a part of the in crowd. But that's so funny.
well, I have to tell you, it made my fucking day because listen, there's so much funny shit on the internet, and I could not figure out why I was laughing so hard at the sound of Home Depot. So I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? So, in honor of your Home Depot obsession, we're just going to say you're obsessed with Home Depot. Okay, that's what we're
Oh,
going to go
please.
with.
Absolutely.
There every day.
Absolutely.
Every day.
So,
Every
exactly.
day, just buying two by fours, bringing them back home.
I love it. In honor of your Home Depot obsession, this is just a random whatever pops to your mind, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to give you some other hardware department stores, and I want you to tell me what food would you post with either their logo or their sound. Are you ready?
I
Okay.
love
All
this.
right.
I
All
love
right. All
this.
right.
All right, so the first one's Lowe's.
The first one's Lowe's. Oh, dude, you're testing how well
I
I even
know.
know
Say
songs.
it, Richie. Say it, Richie.
Get low.
Get
Get low.
low.
Yeah. Get lows. Get lows. Get lows.
Oh,
Get low. Oh,
I see what
I
you
see what you're
did
saying.
there. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Shoot, man. So you said what food I would post with the song?
Yes, but Richie,
Okay, all
you
right.
actually just like you just blew
Richie kind
my
of made
fucking mind.
Richie's
Yeah.
writing the songs for
Sorry.
these places right now.
Yeah. I thought. Sorry. I thought you said what song would you play?
No, that's sick.
I yeah, that was fucking awesome. But what food would you pair it up with?
Barbecue. I do some barbecue ribs or something and put the low song behind it.
Perfect. Walmart.
Dude, just a microwave hot dog. Just a microwaved ballpark hot dog and then the Walmart logo behind it.
What about Ace Hardware?
And this is silly and this is gonna be a little cheesy, but for whatever reason, whenever I hear the words Ace Hardware, I think of cereal. And it's because when my favorite TV show is How I Met Your Mother when I grew up, and there's one single episode where there's a reference to like somebody's chewing too loudly and it's like bothering the other character or whatever, and they're like, "Where'd you get that cereal? Ace Hardware?" So that would be my answer. It's just a silly little joke from a TV show in like 2009 that's like stuck in my brain for some reason.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for going along with it. I
Yeah.
like to really show that the people I invite on, I don't invite them on just because I'm inviting the whole world. I'm inviting because I truly do draw inspiration from lyrics like the bitch line or some shit you posted. And I think that's what this is all about. It's about magic
This is
and
awesome, man.
inspiration.
I've seen
Thank
her
you
other
guys.
interviews, so I know that I'm having a good time here.
I appreciate that so much. The last thing I have for you guys, we are going to go from dream phone with an F to dream phone with a PH. Okay. So this is that full circle moment we talked about earlier today when you were like, we just took the PH out and added the F. If we were to be dream phone with a PH, we're going to leave some voicemails. So I am going to give you a song title and you have to leave a voicemail in a tone I'm going to give you, but you have to use that song title in your voicemail. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay. I think I
Okay.
see what you're saying.
So for example, I'll
Okay.
give you a song title and then I'll give you a mood and then you have to leave a voicemail in that mood and somehow use that song title in the voicemail. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it.
I think so.
I'm gonna give this one to you, Reese. The
Okay.
song title is Sleepover and the tone is sexy.
All right. All right, man. And I gotta act like I'm leaving a voicemail to somebody.
Yeah.
This will be
All
good.
right. All right. This will be very funny. This is gonna be tremendously embarrassing for myself. All right. Hey, babe, just calling you. We had our third date last night, and you left a little something over here after our little sleepover. If you want to come back over and come get it again, you're more than welcome to. My number is here. My address is here. I'd love to see you again sometime. And
And
oh,
you're just
dude.
gonna end it on an and. I love how she left something over, but she doesn't know your address.
I know this. I realized halfway through, I was like, this seems like a very desperate phone call.
Hey,
Just
you
like,
know what?
please let me
Oh,
see
that
you
was
again.
great.
You know what? Desperate times sometimes do make for some sexy times. So
Yeah, that's hilarious.
that is
We're
perfect.
learning exactly how much rizz dreamfone has right now. That's exactly what's happening. It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
I
No, not at
love
all.
it. I love it. The next one I have, this is the one I'm going to give to you. Richie is going to be talking to myself, and the tone is angry. So you're just pissed as fuck. Okay.
Okay, it would be something like, "Hey, where the fuck are you? I just keep talking to myself, and you won't talk back. What the fuck? I thought we were friends. Bye." I think that's a good one.
It's pretty
I've
good.
had, I've had that I've had that happen before. Yeah, back when I used to care about what people thought of me, I had a moment like that, and I think it was a text. Yeah, that was easy because I've done that before.
All right. So mine's going to be drunk and venting. What mood should I do?
You're drunk and pissed.
Drunk and pissed. I
That's what
like
the
it.
song's about. You're kind of pissed at everything.
Okay, cool. Hey, Richie, I just got your fucking voicemail and I'm calling you back and you're not even gonna fucking answer your phone, but you left me a voicemail and now I'm just here sitting drunk and venting. So fucking call me back, dude.
That's great.
I like how you pushed it back on me. Like I left the voicemail to you, and then you're like, "Hit me back." Like, no, dude, I'm the one.
Dude, when are we all joining SAG? This is crazy. We got some real
Yeah.
actors in here.
That was so much fucking fun. Thank you guys so much for one, just giving me your time. I know it's early in the morning and this just couldn't have gone any better. Like, I'm just so over the moon and now I'm gonna fangirl even more as soon as we get off the fucking call.
I love it, man. No, we
It's
really
awesome, man.
appreciate it, man. This is like the first time we've done like where we talk together, Dream Phone. So no, man, it was great. We appreciate you having us on.
Thank you so much, man. That was a blast.
Oh, for sure. You guys were a fucking blast. It's always a two-way street here. It's like I can't bring dull people on and then not feed off of each other. And so that's where I always geek out the most. When you guys also bring the vibe, the energy, it just makes fucking magic. So I
Hell
want you
yeah.
guys
Love
lastly
it.
to tell everyone where to stream you, where to find you on socials, and let's wrap it up.
Awesome. Yeah,
Man,
find us on socials. Dreamphone on Instagram, Dreamphone Band everywhere else. Dreamphone with an F, stream it everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, the whole bang, wherever you get your tunes.
Richie, were you going to say something? I thought I heard you say something.
yeah, no, like also our website dreamphoneband.com is where like everything's kind of there for you. Our tour dates, our music, our videos, all that. So, but like we said, if you're just gonna go to it, there you go.
Richie's like, I wasn't going to say anything. I think you need to go get your eardrum checked, Mo.
Yeah.
No, amazing. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And once again, just thank you so much for giving me your time. I appreciate it.
You too,
Absolutely,
buddy.
man.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much for
much.
having us.
Alrighty, take care, you guys.
You too,
Later.
buddy.
Bye. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.